Danube, hello Niall, hello Thames. I'm going to read this book to you today because all of early years are learning about this beautiful book which is called The Fox and the Star, and it is by Coralie Bickford Smith. Okay, so let's read this book. Once there was a fox who lived in a deep, dense forest. Because Fox was small and the trees reached far higher than the tips of his ears, he was timid and afraid to stray far from his den. And yet, for as long as Fox could remember, he would wake at night to the cool, calm light of Star. Can you see the star? Together they made paths through the trees, Star brightening the shadows ahead. Star was Fox's only friend. Star would light the way for Fox as he foraged for beetles and ran wild in the tangled thorns. Star looked on when Fox chased the rabbits and raced through the thicket. Even when the rain fell, Fox felt fine. He asked Star to shine through the clouds so he could dance to the rain's tapping beat. All of Fox's happiness was bound to the flickering light of Star, and so it had always been. Then, one night, Fox woke, and everything had changed. Fox called out for Star, but Star did not appear. The forest stayed cold and dark and still. In the days that followed, Fox dreamt that Star would return, but the darkness drew closer. Without Star, there was no reason to go outside. Worried and lonely, he huddled in his den. Days and nights passed in silence until something stirred in the forest. The beetles were on the move, creeping and crawling to where Fox lay. Closer and closer the beetles came, seeking the still body of Fox in the belly of his den. The smell of 1,000 beetles ignited Fox's hunger. He faced the darkness and feasted on the tasty beetles. And he felt much better. It was time to go and find Star. Fox peered around the gloom and could just make out a clump of thorns. "Have you seen my star?" Fox asked the undergrowth, but the thorns did not know of any star. Next, Fox came across a colony of rabbits. "Have you seen my star?" he shouted down the burrows. But rabbits have no time for foxes. Suddenly, Fox was beyond the forest he knew. He looked up at the trees. "Have you seen my star?" he cried. But the trees were too tall to hear him. Fox found himself in a quiet, empty clearing he had never seen before. He sank to the ground and fell asleep. Fox woke to the sound of falling rain. He wanted to know if the rain had seen Star on its travels, but he did not know how to ask the raindrops. When the rain stopped, he had a feeling that something had changed. Fox called out to the forest, to the trees and the leaves, to the beetles and the rabbits, to the tangle of thorns and the life he had left behind. Where did Star go? He stayed still, listening to the noises of the forest and watching the leaves settle on the ground. Look up beyond your ears. Fox could not believe there were so many stars. His heart was full of happiness. He knew that somewhere out there, a star that once was his. Beneath the blazing sky of stars, Fox made his way through the forest. And that is the end.